All right, guys. Hey, James here. Welcome to our last day of the 4th day uh workshop, okay, passive income workshop. I'm so glad to be here again, guys. And thank you for showing up. While we're waiting for more of you guys joining us, I'll find let me find Gemma. Okay, let me find Gemma. Hey, Gemma raise her hand, please. Let me promote you to panelists. Yeah, we're gonna have our last day, and Gemma gonna do another presentation. So she did it on day 2. Thank you, Gemma, for coming back. And today she's gonna talk about digital courses. I know this is kind of a very hot topic for many of you, and I believe you're gonna learn so much from Gemma today. So let me change my name, James Liu. Oh, wait. All right. Good. Gemma, how are you today? How do you feel?
Good. Yeah, really excited. Can't wait for today's session. Yeah, really pumped. It's so good to see so many of you joining us as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's day 4. It's like we made it. Congratulations to everyone. And I can see some names here that I recognize that I've seen every single day. So that's amazing. If you've been here every day, welcome. It's so good to see all of the
yeah. And also stay to the end, right? You're gonna get these huge show up bonuses with all the slides we shared in the past 4 days and all the guides we created. So if you miss any of this before, stay to the end of today, like 2 hour session, you're gonna get all of them, okay? And we're gonna celebrate together as well. We have a special guest, a secret guest, gonna be joining us later today as well. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Gemma. I think Gemma, you can share screen, and
yeah.
I will mute and turn my screen. So guys, enjoy. All right, I'll be back. Bye, guys.
Thanks, James. Okay, right, let's make sure I'm doing this correctly. I know on the first day I had some issues, but we should be good. Let's see. Okay, well, I had that already. Can you just let me know if you can see my screen? Are we all good? If you just, yes, okay, perfect. I love the energy already in the chat today. So good to see you. So happy. Perfect. So welcome to day 4. I am really looking forward to this. This topic is definitely something that I absolutely love. So I cannot wait to share all about it. And I'm going to be sharing the Digital Course Creators Blueprint. So who is looking forward to hearing about digital courses? As you're coming, Denise, already me. I love that. Me, yes, definitely. I'm so excited to share such, like James said, this is such, I think, a hot topic. So I cannot wait to share all about this with you today. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Gemma Keeling. I will be sharing a little bit about my story in just a moment. I just wanted to say welcome to everyone for joining all across the world. I know many of you are in many different time zones, so we appreciate that. I'm currently in central Mexico, so it's still not too early in the morning, but perfect. So one thing is, before we get started, way back on Monday, the first day of our workshop, James shared with you that we had a big, we asked you to fill out a survey. We actually had close to, I think, 1,500 of you fill out this survey. And we realized that there was big reasons why you wanted to join this event. So that's my question for you to begin with, is what is the biggest reason you wanted to join the workshop? Now, the first reason we found was just curiosity. I'm curious, what is this whole passive income thing about? Or I just want to learn something new. So if that's you, I want you to type in number 1. Now, secondly, it might be that you are looking to make passive income. That's why we're here, is to make some money. Yeah, and exactly, teachers love to learn. Now, another thing is, okay, right now I am just so busy. Or maybe you're looking to retire. Maybe you are looking to have a bit more freedom. you work full-time in a school, maybe you work online, and you just don't have enough time, you don't have enough freedom. So let me know. Okay, I'm seeing a few different 2s and 3s. 2 for when retired, okay? 1, 2, and 3. It could be all 3 of these reasons. Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing a lot of 2s, which makes sense. I mean, we're here to make the money. 100%, all 3, 2 for retirement. Yeah, it could be I don't have enough time right now, but I am looking to make passive income. Perfect reason. Yeah, all 3 of them. Okay, exactly. So need more income. Yeah, well, you're definitely in the right place. If you, whether you answer 1, 2, or 3, or all of them, I'm going to be sharing with you today some ways to make this happen. Now, today's plan is I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 biggest questions. In that survey, we found that there are quite a lot of common questions, and specifically about making and creating and selling digital courses, but also generally about how can I get started, what can I do, what are the options for making passive income. So I'm going to be addressing those today in our session. I will then be sharing the differences of how you can create and sell a digital course on a platform, or if you want to do that independently. And then I will be sharing with you some of the biggest digital course creation myths and some effective ways that you can sell your digital course. Whether you have one now or not, that's going to be really helpful. And I will also be sharing some ways, if you are looking to create and sell a digital course, how we can work together beyond the workshop. We will also have time to answer all of your questions, and I imagine there will be lots of questions. Yesterday, Robbie did an amazing job, and with James as well with the questions, and we had a lot of questions coming in, so I'm sure there will be many more today. So make sure to stay for the questions, and then we will have a special guest coming to join us as well. So that's today's plan. Now, I want to share with you though, by the end, why should you stay and listen to me today? So my promise is that by the end of this session, you will walk away understanding how you can create and sell a digital course, how you could get it set up, how you can do that with minimal tech experience or tech equipment, minimal marketing effort, and how you can do that in a way that brings in the passive income. Because as we've just seen, that's why you're here today. Now, if you do stay to the end, we are going to share with you some special bonuses. One of the, we will share that with you if you stay to the end. Now, it is a 2-hour workshop. We appreciate you staying to the end. And to do that, we will reward you. Now, we're going to firstly share with you all of the slides, not just from today, but from every single day. So we have 4 days of slides that we will be sharing with you. We'll also be sharing with you the Teacher Passive Income Strategic Guide. And that was from day 1. If you were here on day 1, shout out to you. That was all about identifying the top 3 passive income strategies, specifically that would make sense for me and what I'm looking for. So that was the next one. On day 2, we also shared the book self-published kickoff guide. You stay to the end, we'll also be sharing that with you. That's to help you determine what type of book that you can publish, the topics, the types, and the outline. And then also the guide from day 3, which is the Educational Resources Marketing Guide. And that will help you with brainstorming your ideas and developing marketing messages. So if you stay to the end, which was 2 hours, we really appreciate it. And we want to reward you for that by sharing the special bonuses and gifts with you. So I want to share just a little bit about my story and why should I learn from you, and what is your background with teaching? So I actually started teaching in person in 2009. I started as a language assistant, and I also had my first experience of working with ESL learners on the Isle of Wight in a summer school. I was helping children who were around 12, 13 years old who left their parents and they came for this summer for 2 weeks to learn English, and I was helping them in different schools and taking them on trips to London and taking them to the beach. And that was my first experience of teaching English and teaching. And that was all in person. And then I really loved that experience. I actually didn't want to go into education at all. I didn't want to study languages. I was a very keen artist, and all of my teachers were expecting me to go to art school. That did not happen. I loved that experience so much that I actually studied Spanish and TEFL at university. I have a bachelor's degree in Spanish and TEFL. Now, as part of my degree, I spent a year abroad. And during my degree, I had many opportunities to work with students. I worked with refugees. I also worked for the British Council as a language assistant, teaching in Spain. I spent many opportunities as an au pair living in Italy, and lots of opportunities of teaching abroad. And I really got that, I guess, travel bug and the travel teaching bug. And then when I graduated, I had the opportunity to work in schools in the UK. I was working in language schools. I was working in Manchester and I've also worked as an academic manager. And then one thing though, even after graduating, there was an issue that I know many teachers face. And that was I was working full-time, making £12 an hour for my my sessions, for my teaching. And I realized this is not really going to sustain me. This is not what I was expecting. I had all these amazing experiences of teaching and traveling and being paid relatively well in my 20s to do that. And I realized, okay, this is not really what I imagined. And I had my first opportunity in 2016 to work online. I was very skeptical of how that was possible back in 2016, but I ended up working for a few different companies. And then I applied to do my master's degree, and I did a master's degree in applied linguistics and second language acquisition at the University of Oxford. Now, one thing, when you study at Oxford, they have a very strict requirement, and that is that you cannot have any work. You can't work part-time. They limit you to that. So I had to find ways to make income without having an official job. So I continued with tutoring. I had independent students, working with other master's students and helping them with their English, doing a lot of tutoring. And then I realized, okay, I can actually do this online. I was working for Powerfish and iTutor Group and many of these big online companies. And I then graduated and realized I'm not stuck in one place. I can travel and I can teach in different countries, and that's exactly what I did. In 2019 especially, I was a digital nomad traveling Mexico, and I had my first taste as well of passive income. I'm going to share a little bit about that. Now, I was asked to create a few different courses for these companies, and I had a lot of opportunity of work beyond just teaching, and that really opened my eyes to having multiple revenue streams. Now, in 2020, I was actually asked to create my first ever digital course for one of these companies. I was contacted by the head office. I was working as a teacher, I was working as an ambassador, I was working with the recruitment. They gave me lots of different jobs, and they asked me to create a digital course. And I was given the opportunity to choose my topic. All they told me was the students will be business professionals in Asia, adult learners that want to learn a little bit about British etiquette in business and just social skills. That was all I had to go from. So I had to present them two different options, and I needed to create short videos, so 10 short videos for this company. And that's exactly what I did. Now, at the time, I was also creating small videos for them as part of their app. And I thought, okay, right now I create 10 videos in 1 week, I usually could do 10 videos. So I thought, okay, maybe this digital course would take me 2 weeks. I can do this. And in the end, it was a whole month process to create this course. Now, I learned a lot. I really enjoyed the experience, and they were impressed with what I did. But at the same time, I felt pretty terrible about it. And the reason was I realized that I could create a course for a company with 1 billion students. And firstly, I wouldn't get to see who my students were. I had no interaction with these students, no idea who was benefiting. And then secondly, the pay was shocking. The amount that they paid me for this course, which, it's a $1 billion company, and the amount I believe was just the same as the price of 2 units of the course. So I thought, if I'm doing this for them, maybe I can do this for myself. There must be a way. There must be students that would like to, that could benefit from a digital course. And I realized the process, yes, there's a lot to learn, but it was definitely possible to do this. And that actually was the push for me to start my own business. And that's when I founded Fluent Speakers, and I did the 21-day challenge. Now, some of you might not be familiar with that, but I worked with James Liu to do that, and I started my business. Now, in 2021, I had a good problem. The good problem was that I ended up getting too many one-on-one clients. It really worked. I followed all of the strategies that I was taught by James, and I thought, okay, I went from working all of these hours and doing all these jobs for all of these different companies, and now it still feels like the same thing, but I'm not running the business is running me. I had a lot of students that wanted to work with me one-on-one, which was fantastic, but I thought, this is a lot of my time. What am I going to do? How can I create something? And I realized, wait, you created that digital course. Let's do that again. You could create what you're teaching in your one-on-one coaching and put that together in a digital course. And that's exactly what I did. And then thanks to the success of that, I was asked to come on board and work with the team at Broadway Strategy. And I'm now helping teachers to do the same, and other educators and teacher influencers. And as of this year, I was voted the English Language Coaching CEO of the Year. So this is a little bit about myself and my story, creating my first digital course. Now, one thing is I want to share, okay, what does it mean to have a digital course? What kind of impact can that have? And for me, I want to share just a little bit, because this is not something you always see. And I would say the biggest impact for me is just the amount of reach. There's only one of me. There's so many options where I can do one-on-one coaching. I realized I could probably only take on a maximum of 10 clients one-on-one realistically. I could take on more, but I didn't really, it was 20 hours of preparation. I had to learn the marketing. I had to learn everything. So I realized, okay, I want to help more people. I can't do that with just one-on-one or even group programs alone. So it's just being able to reach students from all over the world. Now, in that process of actually creating a digital course, it has massively improved my confidence, not just showing up online, being able to run this session with you today. Thanks for that experience of just showing up and getting used to the camera. Now, another thing is, once you do that, once you have a digital course, I did start to show up more on social media. I was more active on my socials. And with that, I was able to really expand my business generally, just because I'm showing up more and promoting an offer to people. Now, by doing that, I was actually contacted by a tech startup in Brazil in 2021. And they asked me to run my course with them. And I was able to work with many different companies offering my digital course. It was my digital course plus a few group coaching sessions as well. And I worked with GovTech in Singapore, working with native English speakers, offering my course, as well as Auto Group and many other companies since then, all thanks to my digital course. And then the big one, why many of you here, is it has meant more income, ultimately. Now, the first months, by working with these companies in 2021, I was able to hit my first 10K months, thanks to launching my independent digital courses. So that's really the impact it's had for me. Hopefully that can just share a bit of behind the scenes of what is possible with a digital course. Now, that's what it means to me, but I would love to ask you, what would having a digital course mean for you? What would it mean? Now, I gave quite a lot of examples for me. Yes, it meant more income, but it also meant improved confidence. It also meant I was able to work with companies. Now, it meant I could work with companies because I had something to share them. It was also just that, oh, wow, you already have a course. Okay, great. We have, 100 people. We can share your course with them. Much easier to support 100 people in a company when you already have a course to share with them. Okay, let's have a look at what everyone is saying. And I can see some really amazing questions. I am going to be addressing a lot of questions today, so I hope I can get to them. But if I don't, make sure to ask them at the end. That's where we will be answering your questions. Okay, Peter said to share what I know. Yes, and as we've seen, I think a big takeaway already from the last few days is that you have so much to offer. You have so many things that you can share. Okay, more time, more money, stability. Yeah, a sense of accomplishment. Yeah, Rachel said it empowers me to teach more people at once, being able to reach more teachers, engagement with clients to better improve the course, being able to fully retire and travel freely. Yes, as you can see, as you know, I don't know if I mentioned, but I live in central Mexico, and now I have a business where I can, I'm going to be going to Mexico City. I can go back to see my family in England. Also, at the beginning of the year, I was able to take a Panama cruise with my parents. And I was able to do that while running my business. So absolutely, the ability to be able to travel freely is just incredible. Okay, more freedom, sharing your knowledge. Yeah, the satisfaction. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, is also just I was able to do that. I made that happen. And that's a really nice feeling. Okay, a lot of answers here. Exactly. Simone saying, come to Houston for barbecue. That is on my bucket list. I was able to visit Houston, but I wasn't able to have the famous barbecue, unfortunately. But next time, there's a good reason to return. Yeah. Okay. Now, one thing is, as I mentioned, I'm going to be addressing some of the biggest questions that you have when it comes to digital courses, all things digital courses. Now, the first one is, well, how do I get started? How easy is it to set up? What type of course can I create? How do I find an audience for passive income products, and in particular, digital courses? And then how can I make sales? Because you might have a digital course, but what do I do with it? How am I supposed to make sales from this? Although there's a few teachers here that have a digital course, or you have an idea. Let me know, do you already have a digital course? Just give me a quick yes or no. Do you have one that you've already made? I don't. Okay, no, about 50-50. Okay. Some parts. Yeah, need to complete 90% finished. Okay, almost there. Okay, well, that's great. Whether you have one or not, you're definitely in the right place. Okay, so how do I get started? I truly believe it all starts with an idea. So for those of you that said no, it's all about starting with an idea. I'm going to help you in coming up with, okay, but how can I get clear on my idea? What am I supposed to do? And really, you want to get clear on your topic. So how can you do that? You firstly want to think about a topic that aligns with your skills. And you want to find a balance between what you're good at, and your skills. You also want to think about your background. I think one thing is sometimes we forget what it was like before we knew what we know now. And sometimes it's, okay, it becomes like driving a car. Once you learn how to drive, when you first started to drive, you had to really think about it. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? But now, if you drive, you would just get in the car and go, and you don't even think about it. And that's like that with many skills that we have, because you're doing them all the time. It seems easy to you because it's something that you do every day. But one thing to think about is that your audience is interested in things that seem really simple to you, but can be a big help to them. Another thing is they also want a straightforward plan. So something that takes them from where they are now to where they want to be quickly. And the biggest mistake is, okay, I want to take them from 1 to 10. But really, you just need to take them from 1 to 2. So get clear on a topic that aligns with your skills. The next thing is you want to choose a topic that is desired. There needs to be a need for that, because customers will buy when you offer a solution that matters to them. Now, you have to think about what will make their life easy, what will help them change in some way. So that's just thinking about what is it that they will need. Now, you can do a few things to find out. And one thing is just really thinking that my ideal client will buy when it's something that matters to me. I think that's really what matters to you. If you're not sure, you could ask your audience, you can ask your students, what is something? Or maybe it's, I don't have this. I'm a teacher and I don't have a course on how to do this, and that would be really fantastic. Well, why don't you create it? That's a way to think about, do I have this need? Does my student have this need? You also want to choose a topic that does have the potential to make money, because it can take a bit of time to put together a course. Now, there are ways to do that, and we will show you ways to make that easy, but it's still going to be some of your energy to do that. So you want to make sure that as much as possible that you are looking at content and products and services that people are already investing in. Now, to do that, I would suggest checking out bestseller books in your niche. So is there a book already on this? If there's a book on a topic, there's probably going to be a need as a digital course. Also, if you find a book that would kind of align with a potential course, check out their reviews. What are the reviews saying? And many times you will find, this is really great, but maybe this is something that's missing. That's a gold mine, looking for information like that. Also, social media. What are people discussing on social media that could be a potential topic? Now, finally, you want to choose a topic that you enjoy. And this is so important because you need to be able to sustain the enthusiasm, because you're going to create it. But once you've created it, it's a topic that you will eventually promote and talk about. And it will become relatively competitive when you're speaking about the same topic again and again. It can be, okay, I've got to talk about this again. And you want to choose a topic that you could continue to talk about and you have the enthusiasm for. So think about, does this topic really excite me? Is it something that I really enjoy? Now, if this is, I'm still considering what topic, I don't know, I'm a little bit stuck. If you are still stuck, I have a few things to think about. One thing you can think about is, what process or framework do I use currently with my students? What has been working for my clients? Or what questions do I get asked all the time? That is where your digital course will be. Something that you're asked all the time, something that's worked for your clients, and a process or framework that you currently use. You can also think, okay, there's a lot of great courses on this particular topic, but I teach it in a slightly different way, and I find my students just seem to get it. Now, can you put a different spin on a topic that's already popular? That's also a great opportunity for a course idea. Okay, I'm just going to check in. I know there's a lot of information. How is everyone doing? Okay. Carrie said, this is my biggest issue. I cannot narrow down to identify where to start. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Okay. We're talking about all topics here. It's not just about English or teaching English. I know a few of you are language teachers. We have science teachers here. We have math teachers. We have those who don't want to do a course on teaching at all. It might be that you really excel at Excel, for example. Maybe you have a particular hobby that you can teach someone about. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. We can think outside the box. I love that. I love that, Dale. That's so true. Okay, perfect. So let's see. I would like to just hear what are one or two ideas that you have for your digital course. Just give you a moment to maybe share what are some of the ideas. What are some ideas of your digital course? For those of you that said no, it's a secret. That's okay. If you don't want to share it, Rowena said how to adapt to living in Mexico. That's a fantastic course. You have to, when you make that, share it with me. I'm sure I can also share that with a few others and expats and many people here. So great idea. Okay. Paula said children's writing, phonics for children, how to take your health into your own hands, an amazing topic, balance between fluency and accuracy. Okay, advanced English for HR, lots of great ideas. Homesteading in retirement, okay? Finding yourself in retirement, nice. Crocheting with kids, yeah, wonderful course. Okay. Okay, Korean learning, yeah. How to use ChatGPT, Midjourney, and Canva, fantastic ideas. Okay, I love all of these ideas. It's so good to see them. Now, once you have an idea, the next thing is, well, okay, how easy is it going to be to set up? And you have two options here. You can, one, create and sell a digital course independently. That's exactly what I did myself. Or option two, you can sell your course on a platform. So you have two options. Sorry, it's going a little bit crazy. I'm going to be sharing about the two ways today with you that you can set up your digital course once you have that ready. Now, firstly, we can sell our course independently. And like everything, there are pros and cons. Now, the first benefit of creating and selling your course independently is that you have full control over the content, over the pricing, and over the marketing. Like I mentioned with the course that I created for the company, I had a little bit more flexibility with the content, no control whatsoever about the pricing, no control about the marketing. It was not something that I really had much involvement other than that creation process. Creating it yourself, you had that full control. But with that does come a negative, and that's that you are responsible for driving the traffic to your course and all of the marketing efforts. So like anything, there's pros and cons with doing this independently. Now, another thing is because you're promoting your course yourself, it does mean higher profit margins as there are no platform fees. Now, there is a bit of a caveat. If you are selling your course on a platform, you do have to, not always, but there are sometimes fees involved. I'll be sharing with you in just a moment where you can consider hosting your course if you are doing this independently. Now, there are free options, and we'll be sharing a few with you in a moment, but typically it would be much lower than the commission if it's if you're signing for a bigger platform. So you do have the opportunity to make more, but that does mean you have to manage the payment process. You do have to manage if there's refunds, and it's your responsibility ultimately to manage all of the payments. Okay, the other thing is, and that was a big thing for me when I created this course for this company, was I didn't get the opportunity to interact with my students. When it's your course, you get that option and you have that direct customer relationship. So you have access to your students and you can really I've built an incredible relationship to many of my students. Actually, I'm going to be meeting some of my students that have taken my course this weekend. So it's just so wonderful to meet your students in person and to actually have a relationship with them. I really enjoy that. But one thing is, you don't have a built-in audience, and it can take some time to attract students and to find the right students when you're doing this independently. Okay, now I have a question for you. Have you ever bought a digital course from a platform? And if so, which one? So which platform have you bought a course from? I see Udemy. Yes, Udemy, Bowie. Love that. Hundreds from Udemy. Okay, Coursera, Kajabi. Okay. Tango on Udemy. That's great. Coursera, YouTube. Okay. Yes, from Udemy. Center of Excellence, Udemy. Okay. Yeah, Udemy. Okay. Okay, FutureLearn. Okay, great. Off to Class. Yeah, Coursera. FutureLearn. Yeah, there's many. Okay, great to see many of you have experience at least buying these courses. Perfect. Now, when it comes to selling on a platform, there are some advantages. And one is that it comes with a built-in audience. Now, many of these platforms like Udemy already have a lot of traffic. They have millions of users that go to their website every single day, searching and looking for your topic. Another thing is these platforms are typically very easy to use, very easy to get started with, and they will handle the payments for you. They handle the course delivery and the customer support. So if you are really looking to be as hands-off as possible, if what's more important to you is freedom, then doing all of the work and having to sell a course yourself, it could be a better option for you. Now, another thing is minimal tech hassle. Now, I know many of you tech, and also for me, tech is not my favorite thing. And I want it to be, there's a lot to learn with tech. If that's the case, then you might want to consider selling on a platform. Another thing is marketing assistance. Now, platforms like this will actually sell and run different promotions for you. So even if you have very limited marketing experience, any background with that, a platform again is a good option for you. But of course, I've seen in the chat, actually, there are some negatives with selling on a platform. And the biggest one is the limited, the fees, the platform fees. And it does depend, but they can be up to 50% more or more if you are selling on a platform. But when you think about it, they are doing all the marketing. You create the course once and they will be selling it for you and bringing in all the traffic. So I think it's very fair to take a 50% commission. That's a standard amount, but it's definitely something to take into consideration. Another thing is you do have limited control of the pricing, and a platform, for example, like Udemy will run discounts, and the discounts are offered by their terms. You can't decide, oh, I want to run a discount or I want it to be full price at the moment. That's their control, that's their decision. Another thing is if you have a course on a platform, they will use their own branding and not yours. So if you are looking to really build an online presence, for me in my own digital courses, I was able to use my own branding, and it just adds even more generally to my business. So there's also something to consider. Another thing is, I've seen this, is the competition. There are thousands of courses on these types of platforms. So it's finding that competitive edge and knowing how to stand out on these types of platforms. Okay, so I did say I was going to share with you where you can host and where you can sell your courses independently. Now we have a few different options. The first one is Kajabi. Now, Kajabi is actually the site where we are hosting the course. So shout out for those of you that have actually joined our mastery course. It is hosted on Kajabi. Kajabi is an all-in-one platform for creating, hosting, and selling online courses. Now, a platform like this doesn't do any marketing for you. It's completely up to you to do that. But it's where your students will go as the LMS, the learning platform. So we have Kajabi as one option. Another option that we've also used, and Zenler is a great one to get started because it is a lower cost. You can join for free and just check it out and see how it is, whereas Kajabi does have a higher fee. So depending on where you are in your stage, we've got a few different options that you could consider. Now, another one is Mighty Networks. And Simone is a big fan, yeah, for Mighty Networks. And one thing about Mighty Networks is that it's a community-focused platform above all. So it's a great place where your students can interact and just build a community. And as part of that community, your students can go through your courses, your digital courses that you create. And another example, another option is Thinkific, where you can create, market, and sell your courses. Now, what about if I want to use a platform? Well, a platform, we've seen a few examples. We have Udemy. That one is the easiest to get started. But as I mentioned, the sale percentages vary. So it can be, in terms of how much you can make, easy to get started, but potentially how much you can make from each course could be lower. Now, another option is Skillshare. Now, Skillshare actually works on a subscription model, and they will pay you royalties. And it works it's a little bit more of a complicated way that it works, because their users will subscribe and get access to all of the courses. So it depends on how much watch time, similar to YouTube, how much watch time your students will actually read and go through. Royalty is the payment that they will pay you for your course. That's a good question. So how much they will pay out for the watch time of your course. Because if you're a member of Skillshare, you have access to all of them as a premium member. I don't know the exact price, but they would pay like a monthly amount. And for example, like, oh, okay, I want to watch Dale's course. Dale, if I watched your course and it was 20 minutes right to the end, you would get paid, for example, throughout how much per minute of watch time. That's Skillshare. Now, another option is LinkedIn Learning. Now, one thing with LinkedIn Learning is that it does require an application to become an instructor. I have a few friends who have done this, who have been accepted as instructors. And I think that comes with some prestige of like, oh, I'm a LinkedIn Learning instructor. But it can be, there's a bit more of a barrier to entry. It's a bit harder to get started. Also, LinkedIn Learning caters to a professional audience. So it's typically topics for professionals. So if you wanted to, I think someone said like crocheting for kids, that's not really it's not going to be accepted on LinkedIn, for example. So it's also the topic you have to take into consideration. Okay. Now, one thing is, I mentioned Udemy. Let's have a quick look at that, a bit of a deep dive. So Udemy is one of the largest platforms for online courses. Most courses on Udemy are priced between 10 and 20 US dollars. And the reason for that is because Udemy really wants to be competitive with their pricing. They want to be able to make a lot of sales. So it might be that your course, you're making $5, $10 from each sale, but they are pushing that to millions of people. So it would be higher sales, a lower price point. Now, one thing is how it works. Your student or potential student will visit the Udemy website and they will search for a course. So it's like, okay, I would like to learn about, let's say, PowerPoint. I would like to search for a course on PowerPoint. I would then search for that, and then it would then give me lots of options of potential courses. One thing is that, as I mentioned, Udemy does set and controls the pricing. They want to be known as an affordable price. So if you have a course that you think I could sell this for $100, Udemy might not be the place to do that. But in saying that, they do have a huge pool of potential buyers for you that are ready to buy your course. And there are ways that you can really set yourself up and market on a platform like that to get the most sales and to have the highest reviews. And also, so when your search is, when a student does search, for example, for a PowerPoint course, yours would be right there at the top. Yeah, also you have to be careful with ratings, and there are different things you can do to get good ratings, but there's a good point as well about ratings. Now, with these types of courses, educators, these are just lots of options, many things here. I won't go into all of them, but just many ideas of what types you can create. Things like curriculum development, instructional design is a big one. I know I've actually searched myself looking for courses on instructional design. I've paid for a few on Coursera and many of these sites to learn about instructional design. There's also things like educational research methods, many different options for you as educators that you could come up with. So you might be thinking, okay, if the course is maybe $5, $10 a month, how is it $5 to $10 for this course? How much can I make per month? I want to just share, there are ways of actually finding to know how popular will my topic be. So what is the demand? Does it have a high demand? Does it have a high number of courses already on the platform? And also, how much is the revenue going to be? If I do become a top seller, what can I expect? Now, for those of you, an option like English conversation, if that's probably a little bit more saturated, and it says, bring your A game to succeed in this topic. But those who are doing well in this topic, the average, the top sellers is $2,000 a month. So it's definitely an option if you think, okay, I can really stand out in teaching English conversation, could be a great option. Let's look at another topic. Let's say legal English. Now, probably not the best. However, this is a great opportunity. And don't worry, I'll be sharing the link to this of the platform. I will share that with you, but this is Udemy. You can find this on Udemy's website to see, okay, I have this idea, let's see how well it does. Now this one has a high demand, but there's not many courses. So right now, $300 a month is the potential, but perhaps you could really, it's a great opportunity. Another option is a topic like business English. Business English, again, high demand, high number of courses. You're looking at around $1,000 a month. Okay. And then maybe for those of you, maybe an early childhood education, $500 a month is the top. You're thinking, okay, well, that's not a lot. I want a lot more than that. If that's the case. You also have Excel. Now that is a huge area. If you see the average of the top revenue is $37,000 a month. Now that's the average for the top courses. Yeah, you should learn Excel. Exactly. There really is a lot of potential here if it is a course topic that you really can deliver on. Another option, now I think this is, for those of you that teach IELTS, this is a potential gold mine for you. IELTS, the average top is 6,354. So I really think that could be a great potential for you if you if you are teaching IELTS already, and there's quite a few of you in our community that are teaching, test preparation could be an area to look into to make $6,000 a month relatively easily on a platform like Udemy. Okay, so the benefits of selling, just to quickly reiterate, it's very easy to get started. Another thing is it gives you a free domain URL for your course. Another thing is you don't need to build your audience, and you don't have to spend the money or the energy advertising, really running the tech as well. One thing I didn't mention is that Google trusts Udemy. Now, it trusts you more than it would trust, for example, your own website. If you put your course on your website versus on Udemy, it's going to most likely trust Udemy as a top search result for a student. Another thing is people trust Udemy. Many of you here have bought courses already from Udemy. You probably don't know a lot about the course creator. And no, we're not an affiliate of Udemy. This is just sharing as honest as possible about all of your options. It's not to say you must join Udemy or you must do this yourself. We're not affiliated in any way. We're just giving you the information of what are my options? What can I do? What makes sense for me as well? Because if you are an amazing marketer and you really, it might make more sense to focus, if you are ready to put the time in to go independent and to do that yourself, creating it yourself, a lot of benefits to doing that. But if you are looking for more time and you're happy to put a course together, but then you want it to be bringing in that monthly, but even imagine $300 a month, ongoing monthly with a course that you've, for me, the course I mentioned, it took me a month. And now the payback of that, it took me a whole from start to finish to put a course together. Now it takes me less time. I can actually, you'll have to ask James, but we can put courses together in 5 days. But realistically, around a month is my first, that's how long it took me for my first course. So that could be, if you're ready to put a bit of time up front, it could be, $300, $500 a month, every month consistently, without having to do so much. Now, one thing is, well, okay, and again, that's a big thing, is Udemy will manage the significant portion of your marketing efforts for you. So that's just a lot of information. I see a lot of questions coming in. Okay. Yeah, really, exactly. Preston, I wanted to share just a really realistic option for you, just being I'm a very honest person. I like to share the possibilities, but also the good and the bad. And I think there are advantages and disadvantages really to every option that we've showed you across the last few days. You've just got to find what makes sense for your life and your lifestyle and the time that you have, and what you're looking for long term as well. Okay, I'm going to share a few myths with you, because I definitely had some issues when it came to, mindset and a few beliefs that I realized aren't true. And the first one is the myth that you need to have fancy tech equipment. You don't need to have fancy tech equipment. What you need is, firstly, a reliable computer. You also need to have a good quality microphone. Now, for me, when I first started, I had a headset with a microphone. I was using that when I was working for the different online companies. That was okay. I used that. You can also find small microphones on Amazon and different places for less than $10. So it can be very affordable and also very effective. Now I do have I invested in the Blue Yeti, which you can see right here. But still relatively affordable and nothing too fancy. Another thing is you need a webcam. And you also, potentially, if you're recording your screen, you can use different software. So one option is, I personally use QuickTime Player. You can also use Camtasia. You can use ScreenFlow. There are also other options. We have also used one called Veed. Veed.io, I believe, and that's also another option for you to record your content and your videos. So just a few ideas of, you don't really need a lot of equipment to get started to do this. Now, another myth is that you need to throw in all of the content. Working with many students, yeah, someone asked Gail, good, yeah, Loom is also an option. You can absolutely use Loom to record your courses. Yeah. Now, another thing is, I've worked with many teachers in the community and I made this mistake. And that is throwing in all of the content, thinking, oh, what about this? I should add this to the course. Oh, but what about this? My student also enjoys this. Let's add this to the course. Instead, you have to always remind yourself, less is more. Less is more when it comes to putting together a digital course. Another thing is just having a very clear objective. Like I said, you don't need to take your student from 1 to 10. You just need to take them from 1 to 2. And then you really deliver on that 1 to 2 and that clear objective. And again, you want to make sure you're focusing your content and you're avoiding going off topic. And then number 3, another myth is that you need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to come up with something that is revolutionary, an idea. What you need to do is leverage your existing content. And we saw that yesterday with Robbie, and that's, you have a lot of content that you're probably already using, whether you want to package that and sell as resources, or if you want to make that into a digital course, you already have a lot of existing content that you can use already ready to package. Another thing is, ask your audience what they want to learn. Ask what they already have. What is it that you would like to learn? You don't need to come up with an idea that isn't already, that doesn't already exist. One thing that my mentor, and I've seen this a lot, I really think about this, my mentor shared to me, it does get to be easy. And I think here, what she meant with it gets to be easy is, you don't need to choose something that is difficult. It's something, okay, I already know how to do this. I like to share this. It doesn't have to be, like I said, revolutionary. It gets to be easy. I always remind myself this as I go through the course creation process. Okay, now quickly, how can I make sales? I shared a few different options with you. For example, Udemy, they will take care of a lot of that for you. But I'm going to show for myself, as I mentioned, I sell my courses independently. Some different ways that I've done that is through promotion on social media, through Instagram, through LinkedIn, through TikTok, through webinars. We actually have a course on how to make sales on webinars that Robbie and I have been teaching recently. And that's been really a game changer for me in making sales, is selling on webinars. Another thing is through email marketing, podcasting, YouTube, affiliate marketing. You can also use direct messages, things like blogging and SEO. Now, for me, blogging has also been one thing that I've used. I have a LinkedIn newsletter, have over almost 12,000 subscribers on my newsletter. It's a great opportunity to promote my courses. And then also doing live videos on LinkedIn. You can do live videos on YouTube. Many ways to promote your course, your digital courses, if you're doing this independently. I'm going to share all of these different ones. Preston, great question. Which one has been the most successful? I would say the webinars and doing live trainings has been the best one.